pet parents, and welcome to another episode of Natural Pets TV. I'm Robert Semro, and I am joined by Dr. Ken, Dr. Jodie, and Dr. Patrick. Thank you all for being here. I love all of the acronyms and different, ways we pronounce all the things that go on in healthcare. We've got traditional, conventional, TCM, South American, Western, holistic, integrative. Dr. Jodie, what does it all mean, and how does it impact the care for our pets?
It can be very confusing. And one way to imagine this that I think is helpful is looking at this as an umbrella. To me, holistic is sort of an umbrella term. It encompasses many different modalities under the holistic umbrella. But what holistic refers to specifically is addressing the entire mind, body, and spirit of the individual, of the patient, whether it be a human patient or a pet patient. All these different modalities under the umbrella can include things like even surgery, acupuncture, essential oils, Western and Chinese herbals, homeopathy. One of the most confusing terms is confusing holistic and homeopathy. And the way that really impacts our pets, for example, we might have a potential new client call my practice and say, does Dr. Jodie practice homeopathy? And what they're really asking is she holistic? If they're truly meaning homeopathy, that's just one modality under that umbrella. And I do dabble in that, but my main focus is natural nutrition. That's my major modality under this holistic umbrella. And what I like to teach people is that even if you're a surgeon, you could practice holistically. So all veterinarians are trained conventionally. We come out of veterinary school with what we call an allopathic, conventional, Western training background. And then after school is where some of us go out into the world, go to different seminars, and we start learning these other holistic principles. For example, traditional Chinese veterinary medicine. So when we continue, though, to incorporate some of those conventional things, then we'll often call ourselves integrative. So we're not closed-minded to that Western medicine that we were taught. We learned some new holistic things like acupuncture, but there's the time and place for those Western medications that we want to still incorporate in. So that's when we're going to then call ourselves integrative. So I think it's great to have a good, clear understanding of what these different things are. And if you're a surgeon and you want to think holistically about that patient and address their entire mind, body, and spirit, then after you repair that fracture, you also need to think about, well, what should that pet go home and eat? What kind of lifestyle do they need to have when they go home to help with that repair? And if you're an acupuncturist, you could potentially put in your needles and send that pet on the way and not even think about nutrition and not even think about the lifestyle. Well, that's not really practicing very holistically. So I think for the pet parent to understand this terminology so they know what they're asking for and what they're getting when they choose their veterinarian is really important. So this will be a fun topic to talk about.
I think it's so important. I really think all medicine should be holistic because I think that so much is forgotten about or skipped when you're only addressing the ear infection when the dog comes in. It actually could be informing the owner and starting the plan to then address the periodontal disease and the weight issues and the allergic skin disease and the dietary problems related to eating processed food. So it frustrates me so much when like a pet comes in, I'm getting medical records, I'm looking over and seeing what needs to be done, and like a dog comes in and it gets a vaccination and there's no discussion about the dog's awful dental disease. Like start the plan to address the teeth, do what is actually, treat the disease that's in front of you. Don't just like treat something that the dog may or may not see that it might still have immunity to. So I think the whole umbrella approach is really important. I started, of course, as we all did, as just very Western-minded, but then through going through some of my own health issues, I started to realize that there's more of a need than just medication or surgery. So I was exposed to acupuncture and chiropractic, and I've always been a yoga practitioner, so I feel like the body can heal itself. I taught yoga for quite some time too while I was in my early veterinary years, and so I really try to take that same whole body, whole mind approach and apply that to my patients. So then I got trained in Chinese medicine, became a certified veterinary acupuncturist, and learned about whole food diets through my acupuncture training. And I came out of school thinking like dogs and cats should only eat processed dog food, only eat processed cat food. They should never eat people food. And really nature just makes food. And then we as a society have decided that dogs should eat dog food, cats should eat cat food, people food bad. And I think that has caused so many health problems in pets. It's caused the #1 nutritional disease in pets, obesity. People force these meals down their pets. They're consuming too many calories. They're eating food in a very unnatural state, and I think it's really been detrimental. So, Dr. Ken, what are your experiences with this realm?
Well, I agree, totally with you, and I think every veterinarian needs to be a holistic veterinarian, as Jodie's pointed out. One of the things I do, and hopefully help the pet parents in my practice, is try and get away from the words and tell them what we're using our various tools.
Sure.
And this tool may come from another tradition. This tool may come from a more conventional method, but our toolbox has just been expanded, and so we don't get then involved in, are you holistic, are you, allopathic, and we kind of put those disputes aside, and I think it alleviates a lot of the confusion, and just say, no, we're looking at your dog more holistically, and we're going to use whatever tool works specifically for your dog, and that may be completely different than what your conventional vet may do.
And I would really like to see our profession move away from this idea of sending out the postcard because you're due for a vaccination, and instead coming in once or twice a year at minimum for a wellness visit, and then making sure that the clients know that we do have all these additional tools in the toolbox. I love that terminology.
Yeah, and that's what I do. And I'm sure you guys do too, is send out wellness cards.
Yeah.
Vaccine is a tool, but it is not the primary motivation to come in. And I think that the thing that distinguishes the more holistic approach, and I'm sure you guys do the same thing, is our appointments are longer. Yes. And a holistic approach requires a much more thorough discussion. And what I find in my practice, I'm sure you guys find the same thing, is by the time an hour and a half is done, the dog doesn't want to leave our practice. I mean, they're pretty comfortable. And are snoozing because they're that comfortable. So I think that whole notion and ratcheting down the aura of medicine and opening up the Pandora's box, if you will, of tools, really helps the owner understand what we do a lot better.
And I think if we could get the puppies to come in to us, the more holistic-minded practitioners earlier, so that we can work with them from the get-go instead of sort of our style of practice being the last resort in a lot of cases, where when the conventional has failed, then they might come our way, and we'd like to get started more proactively.
Absolutely. I mean, I think also just generally, I feel like I've been in practice for 17 years now-ish, and medicine has evolved where now most veterinarians who practice Western know about nutraceuticals that can support the joints, that can support the digestive tract, that can support immune health. And so that is available now without necessarily having to go to see a specific holistic veterinarian. So there's more open-mindedness about those things for some people. Not everybody feels like those things help or pets should go on them, but owners are aware of them, so they're more likely to come to ask their Western veterinarian, like, should my dog with arthritis go on a joint supplement? Could my cat that has chronic diarrhea and vomiting take some kind of nutraceutical to support gut health, like a probiotic? So it's out there and people are more aware of it, and so I think that veterinary medicine is evolving, hopefully, to become a little bit more holistic.
Yeah, our colleagues are becoming integrative and they don't even know.
Yes, exactly.
and it's up to you pet parents to keep pushing your vet. And these things that you know about that they're not mentioning, mention to them. Get dialogue going with your veterinarian. So change will come as you demand change. And so I think it's very important that you push us.
Yep. Ask your veterinarian to talk about nutrition and lifestyle at every visit.
And there's, there's been such a push for the more holistic approach when it comes to nutrition. Like there are so many more options available to pet owners now. There are more whole food based, those foods that are cooked and frozen, those that are raw, those that are dehydrated. There's some home prepared diets. Like even if, say, a Western vet is afraid to suggest an owner makes a home prepared diet, you can fairly easily do a nutritional consultation with the university to make a nutritionally complete and balanced, which is where like the threshold always has to be crossed. Like vets are afraid of pets eating nutritionally incomplete and nutritionally imbalanced foods ever. like every bite has to be nutritionally complete and balanced. It's okay if like a couple meals are not, like their pet is gonna be okay. But generally there should be the trend of food being nutritionally complete and balanced. And a university-based nutritionist can just create that meal, and then the pet owner has that recipe that they can make, and they know they're gonna suffice their pet's nutritional needs. So that option is available. It might be a little more expensive than just going and purchasing the bag of food at the store, but it's really worth it for the long run, and those nutritionists are willing to do ongoing consultations. And it really creates a partnership between the owner, the veterinarian, and the specialist, so they're all in the dialogue together.
And for the people that want to feed their pets fresh food, thankfully there are a lot of commercial raw diets available now, and even those that are high pressure pasteurized. And still a lot of the conventional veterinarians are very unaware that this high pressure pasteurization exists. And so they unfortunately put that fear out there that all the raw diets have salmonella in them, and especially, and we're concerned because we don't want our immune suppressed type patients to be exposed to that either, but the high pressure pasteurization takes care of that concern, and we just need to create that awareness.
Sure.
Well, as you can see, there is a lot to know, there is a lot to learn. Make sure you're working with a team, and make sure that you're working with your veterinarian that you feel comfortable communicating with. If you hesitate, the person that suffers is you and your pet. Don't let that happen. You're the voice for your pet. Find an expert that you can work with, that you can have these discussions with, and find out what's available out there for their health care. Thanks for joining us here on Natural Pets TV. Hey everybody, a lot of great information, a lot of great discussion going on here, and we want to keep that going in the comment section down below. Now don't forget, you should subscribe to this channel because we've got more great guests, more great episodes coming throughout the year, so please subscribe. And if you want to find out more information about our guests, I'm going to tell you how right now. Dr. Ken can be found at thewelldog.com, Dr. Jodie at drjodiesnaturalpets.com, and Dr. Patrick at patrickmahaney.com. And as always, you can reach out to us at Pet World Insider. All right, folks, thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.